chicks. Today is baby chick day, and so we're gonna be putting the finishing touches on the brooder. A brooder is just something that you keep the chicks in that is safe, secure, warm, and that's where their feed and water are. They're usually in there for like 2 to 4 weeks, depending on temperature and how they're growing and everything. This is our brooder. It's just a 10 by 5 dog kennel that we put a roof on. It also does a pretty good job of keeping the shavings, the deep bedding in. As you can see, we also have chicken wire around the outside. That way they don't get through the chain link. We also have some little pieces of plywood in the corners at a 45. This keeps the chicks from piling up on top of each other. They'll just get on top and on top and on top and smush one in a corner. And the ones in the corner trying to get warm will die. So that helps alleviate that. The kids actually yesterday put all the lights in. So we got 2 lamps on the wall that will keep this area on the opposite side of the door nice and warm. I had them put 2 more lamps in the center right here. And my directions to my 9-year-old son were to tie them at that joist and that joist and tie them in a way that we could raise and lower them easily. I had something in my mind how I wanted it done. I just let him do it. I gave him free rein. I said, hey, just like I said, easy enough to raise and lower. And he came up with this. He just ran the loop, ran the rope over top of the bar here, and then came down and tied it to the fence. It's out of the way, and from the outside, we could raise and lower these, and it's secure. I feel like that's pretty good for a 9-year-old boy that just got very little direction. He was in charge of this project. I'm pretty impressed. One of the last things that we have to do, spread some more shavings. We like to do really deep bedding. So I want like 6 or 8 inches. Perfect. So this is the biggest setup so far. We're doing 100 meat chickens in here. I think the most we've ever got was like 30 or 40 chickens. This is gonna be interesting. We've never done them outside. We've always done them in the garage. We're gonna probably learn some things here. But one thing that we built is this little platform. What's nice about this is their water, and this can sit right in the center. They can hop up here and drink from the water, but the shavings don't end up in the waterer. If you put the waterer directly on the shavings, they're gonna fill that waterer up with shavings and they're not gonna be able to drink. This has worked really well for us. It's just some 2x4s and some hardware cloth. This dog kennel is kind of proof that when you're farming, when you're doing homestead type stuff, you don't always have to build a huge chicken coop and have everything perfect. Like, this was on hand, we had it, and all I did was wire some 1x4s. I just cut some 1x12s down to 2 inches thick, wired them to the bars, and I'm just screwing scrap sheet metal roofing that I had from making the roof and making other projects. I'm just screwing it. I only had to use 1 full piece. I mean, you look on this side, and these are 10-inch wide scrap pieces that after my father-in-law re-roofed his chicken coop at his house. It's not always perfect, but sometimes you just got to use what you have on hand, or you're going to spend a bunch of money at the store. Sometimes you can't afford to do that. Here we are at the post office, ready to pick up our 100 chicks. We got them. They check your ID, and then they hand you your box of chicks. Oh. So we got the chicks home. We got them in the brooder. Let's check it out. Oh no. Well, we got some dead ones. We got a lot of dead ones. The ones that aren't dead, we'll go through what you got to do. First thing, you start taking them out nice and gentle, and you dip their noses in the water so that they know where the water is. You can do every single one, but if you do at least half, they will show the rest of them where the water is. Well, that was a bit chaotic. We got all the chicks in. There's 84 out of 100. 104, they sent a few extra, and so we had 20 die. They all tried to get out through that little crack and that little crack, and they were successful. So we had to put cardboard up. Also, we had to put cardboard in between the chicken wire and the chain link all the way around, because apparently they can squeeze their body through if the chicken wire is just big enough. So there was a little bit of learning. As I was dipping their beaks into the water, I remembered that if you don't put rocks in the water, if it's deep, they will drown. So I had to rush to the front driveway, get some rocks, and put them in there. We also put some orange slices in here, and they are going after it. It's just some good juice, vitamin C, and other vitamins in there. In the water, we also had, for 1 gallon of water, we had 1 tablespoon of honey, 1 tablespoon of potassium, 1 tablespoon of salt, and 1 tablespoon of baking soda for minerals. Essentially, it's electrolytes, just like you would use liquid IV, any of those. So instead of buying chick electrolytes, we just made our own. Nothing against the chick electrolytes, we just would rather make our own. They're going after the food also. We got 2 lights on because it's a hot day. Might have to use the other 2 lights this evening. One's actually sleeping in the food and one is pecking on my hand. So this is by far the funnest stage when they all survive, because you can just sit in here like I'm doing and relax in the shade and just watch them be chickens. If there's anything you want to know about chickens, meat chickens in particular, where to buy them, how to raise them, what to buy, what to get, best breeds. We've been doing this a few years with different breeds, so we're not experts, but we know a thing or two. Put it in the comments, let us know. Also, before I forget, the hatchery, almost every hatchery, I've never had issues with this, but when they do send your chicks through the mail, if some come dead, they will either reimburse you or send you another 20 in our case. It is a loss because it's a loss of life, and we don't like that. Necessarily a loss for the farm. They guarantee their product, essentially. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you want to see more on our farm, subscribe. We try to put out videos once or twice a week. Sometimes we get more, sometimes we get less, so we get busy. But anyway, thanks for watching, and have a great day.